Hi, Neil from Italia Autos here. Time for part 2 of the Giulietta rebuild. All my new parts have arrived, all the genuine dealer parts, so let's get putting it back together now. Right, first of all, let's get rid of this old gasket before I forget to change it. Make sure it's all the right way around, and yes it is. Some more of my rubbish. Now, we've had these rockers sitting in oil for about 10 minutes just to let everything lubricate up a little bit. Now I want to remove the timing lock so I can time everything up. Okay, I'm just going to put the timing pin in now. Let's just rotate that back round. If you can see right there, because I can't. Okay, if you can see right here, that is where the timing hole is. So we need to pop the end in, screw it in a little bit, and then rotate it round, and you should hear it click in. And there you go, all clicked in. Tighten that up now. So now we know the head is in the right position to go back on. Just using a clean cloth, make sure that the face is all nice and clean before it goes back on to stop any oil leaks. A couple of dirty bits here, so I'm going to get the Stanley blade on those to clean it up. There we go, all clean. Now let's get this under the wiring loom and hopefully get it on in one shot without disturbing anything. Let's just have a look underneath and make sure everything's still on. Right, all those rockers are still in place, so let's get this lined up and down. Okay, let's start popping these bolts in then. Start winding them up in a spiral pattern, but I am just going to get them all down first. Okay, now they're all torqued up, we need to pop all the sensors on, get the injectors back in. Once the top of the engine's all back together, I'll then start to clean out the cam belt side, and then we can refit the cam belt and hopefully get it fired up again. Right, now I have got most of the top half of the engine put back together now. I now need to reseat the injectors, so I'm going to clean the injector wells where they will be sitting. And now a little blowout with the airline. Got my 4 new injector seals. I've given the injectors a clean up. They are going back in the same order that they came out. I am going to be putting a little bit of lubricant on there. A little dab on the bottom to keep the ring held on there while I put it in, and a little squirt around the outside. So when they do have to come out again, they're easier to get out. Clamp. New seal. Now you will also want to make sure when refitting these that there's as little crap around there as possible, because anything stopping the clamp going back down nice and flat, once you torque it up, it will snap. So you do need to be very careful of that. Down and none of the washers have dropped off or anything like that. And now we need to put the spacer on. That's even. Now I would recommend you put new washers on every time the injectors come out, because you do need a very good seal down there, because you can imagine it's very high pressure down there. So if there's any weakness down there, it will soon find its way out. Now I'm going to just loosely tighten them up, and then I'm going to torque them down to the correct measurements. Now as the winter's now here, when you're trying to put rubber back onto metal, it never wants to go. So hopefully a little squirt of WD-40 will make it a lot easier to slide up to the point where it needs to go. Okay, injectors are all done. A couple of 10 mils just to screw back in. I can't do this sensor on the fuel rail yet until the engine is all timed up and the cam belt is on. But that is what we're going to be doing next, is clearing out all that debris. I won't be doing it on camera, just purely for the fact there isn't room to get my hands in there and the camera, so I would be filming you looking at my hands for half an hour. So you will miss out on that one, unfortunately. Just thought I'd show you the difference before I put this tensioner on. That's the old one. And that's the new one. That had been going for quite a while to wear that down like that. So yeah, let's crack on and get the cam belt on. As you can now see, I've cleaned all the engine out, I've fitted the water pump, I've fitted the tensioner, and I've fitted the bearing. Now going to fit the cam belt now. A handy hint when you are doing a cam belt, I use a paint marker and mark the timing lines, just so when the belt's on, you can see exactly where it is, rather than having to faff around trying to see if everything's lined up. Right, cam belt is now on. As you can see, timing mark there lines up. Timing mark on the pump lines up. And if you could see down here, the timing mark down there lines up as well, but you can't really see that at the moment. So now what I need to do is tension the belt up, rotate the engine 2 times, or probably more actually, and then we can see about starting it up. Okay, what I'm going to do now is, because I've had that top oil feed pipe off the turbo, I'm going to be cranking the engine for 20-30 seconds just to make sure that oil circulates around the engine. I also need to check the oil level before I crank it over and make sure that's all okay. So it's not going to start when I do this, I just need to crank it to get the oil circulated round. It shouldn't start because I've disconnected one of the sensors. Now, fingers crossed, it will start. Make sure everything's free from that belt. Okay, right, let's see what will happen now. Let's just pop this engine mount on, because I don't like turning it over constantly without an engine mount, and we'll see why it's not starting. It may well be that it has cracked something that hard it's damaged the valve in there, but normally you would expect a lot more rockers to have broken. So we'll get this engine mount on and see what happens anyway. Right, okay, yeah, just hopefully just fuel getting back to the system again now, so I was being a little bit over precautious on that. So we'll let that run up for a couple of seconds, and I'm going to turn it off because there's no water in it. And that is a relief. I was worried that low compression on the engine, but I wouldn't have thought that would have happened with only 2 broken rockers. So let's get all the water and covers back on now, and then we can get it running properly. Okay, everything's tightened up now, coolant's topped up. I will let the engine run and then I'll top that up again, so I'll leave the cap off because the system needs to be bled. So now, hopefully, we can just start the engine up. It's a little bit rough, but hopefully that'll get a bit better once it warms up. Make sure there's no fluids leaking on the floor. No, we're all good. So let's just jump cut to the engine being nice and warm now. So yeah, there we go, all finished now. It's all test driven, warmed up, drove great. Did have one little problem with it where one of the injector clamps weren't nibbed up quite enough. So just as I've got back, I've just undone the fuel rails and tightened those up again. So that is all running tickety-boo now. The only thing I haven't done is put the cam belt cover on because I wouldn't want to put that broken one back on, so I do need to get another one from somewhere. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, a little bit different doing one of these big repairs. So please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe if it's your first time watching. So thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next video.